What does it mean to be tactical? That might generate some discussion or some different levels of thought here, but what constitutes being tactical? Or more importantly, a tactical shooter or tactics in general? You can be tactical in nearly every single game you play or action you take, because again, the definition of tactical is relating to or constituting actions carefully planned to gain a specific military end. A lot of times the term tactical is synonymous with slow and methodical. Well, definitely the methodical part, but not always the slow part. There are certain actions where speed is actually more tactical than moving slow, and that is a common misconception amongst the tactical gaming community. Speed is sometimes security, especially if you are a much smaller element engaging a larger one. Then there's times where that can dynamically shift. Reason being, smaller elements getting fixated by a much larger element, that's death. Generally, you could say any unit getting fixated is death, but the key factor is a smaller unit cannot project enough fire superiority to regain momentum, and ultimately a larger group will fixate them, flank them, and finish them. In that instance, speed is more tactical than moving slow and methodical. Then there's the concept of, are you compromised? Well, if you're not compromised, then you can move as slow as you need to avoid compromise, because ultimately moving slower makes less noise and you can take more time. Time is a consideration as well that a lot of people don't talk about in tactics. Everyone wants to state composition, disposition, and strength of enemy, but how you're going to conduct an operation on an objective is also dictated by how much time are you allotted to do this. This is no more clearer than, say, one of the bomb missions in SWAT 4. That will change how you play the game. You will no longer take your time and carefully and methodically decide you're going to clear rooms as slow and controlled as possible. You are going to start blitzing because that timer is ticking. And if you don't accomplish the objective in a time window, you're dead. And so is the building, and so is everyone in the building. Time is a major tactical consideration as well. In essence, tactical, in my opinion, is taking into account many variables: mission, enemy, terrain, troops, time, and civilian considerations. These are, in fact, key factors when trying to plan any kind of operation and how you're going to conduct it. That involves strategy and tactics. Strategy being the overarching big picture moves. Tactics would be how you plan on conducting operations there to affect the overall big picture strategy. Tactics, by their very nature, are creative. You can study all the doctrine in the world to give yourself a baseline on what you can do, but it's taking that doctrinal knowledge and being creative with it, because combat is a very fluid, dynamic, crazy process that you have to be able to adapt and shift on the fly. Hence why you will still train SOPs to get everyone on the same page of functioning, but you also need to be able to creatively adapt to situations. That in itself is also tactical. But what makes a tactical shooter? I certainly wouldn't say Quake is a tactical shooter, although if you are bunny hopping and you maximizing your weapon use to effectiveness, you are essentially playing the game tactically, but I would not call that a tactical shooter. So what constitutes a tactical shooter or a tactical game? Well, that would involve more authenticity, in my opinion. That's what tactical games are striving for, is more of a simulation experience. Something that involves a lot more forethought in your planning and your movements. That makes it tactical and generally ingrained in reality. There is a understood sense of reality and immersion in what you're doing, and authenticity. Utilizing all the key factors that I mentioned, what are some examples of a good tactical game? The original Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six Raven Shield, and titles previous to it, like Rogue Spear, SWAT 4. Why do I say this? These games have a team selection phase, loadout phase, and most importantly, a planning phase. This takes into account all the factors I listed. You get briefed, you get to select the tools for the job, you get to pick the teams, have the certain skill sets for the job, and you get to dictate the flow of the operation and actions on These are critical components, in my opinion, that are severely lacking from the common tactical game, or what is considered the common tactical game today, and they need to be brought back. This is why I enjoy Arma 3 so much, because I haven't seen a game or a simulation that encapsulates all the things I just mentioned better. You don't necessarily have to go to that level, but the more that you do, the more it'll be received by the community, because you are harnessing aspects of what I mentioned. This is just my opinion. This is just my thoughts. I don't speak for the entire tactical gaming community, but I do know that a lot of people feel that way. What did you all think about this discussion? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments section below. If you want to support the channel, think about becoming a YouTube Task Force member, where we do a deeper dive into tactical discussions. You can also buy a t-shirt at my store, listed in the description below. If you also want to purchase some games, I also have a game store in the description in my video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to my spiel. Let me know what you think. Have a good day.